The living room was a black skeleton. Hiroto sat in the ash, a half-burned photograph trembling in his soot-stained fingers. The fire had taken everything. The house, her belongings. Only this singed image survived, a smiling face frozen at the edge of char. 3 days later, Hiroto stood before Tsubaki Insurance. The rejection form was already in his pocket before he stepped inside. Behind the glass partition, senior adjuster Keiko was already smirking. A trembling clerk with a yellow braid clutched her clipboard.
Policy renewal was 26 hours late. Portal outage or not, the clause is clear. Claim denied.
Your company's portal was down for 30 hours. I tried to pay. The system rejected me.
That outage was on our end. She knows that.
Read the fine print. Late is late. If you disagree, hire a lawyer.
Hiroto said nothing. He picked up the stamped paper, turned, and walked out with a stillness that felt heavier than anger. Outside, he pulled out his phone. The name on the screen read Daisuke, CFO of Sumikawa Reinsurance. The call connected. In his office, Daisuke's phone flashed Hiroto's name, the Sumikawa logo bright on the screen.
Hiroto, you never call this line during business hours. What happened?
Tsubaki Insurance denied my claim. Their portal outage caused the delay, but they rejected it without hesitation.
Your claim? You're a policyholder there? Do they know who you are?
They don't. Arrange an emergency board meeting for 5 p.m. Tell Tsuyoshi the reinsurance facility is under review. No other details.
I'll call him now. Hiroto. They just made a very expensive enemy.
The line went dead. Daisuke swiveled to his computer, pulling up the reinsurance agreement. His finger traced a key clause.
Principal owner can suspend quarterly facility with immediate effect. Tsubaki can't write a single policy without us.
A message from Hiroto buzzed. No advance warning, Daisuke. Let them feel what I felt. By noon, Tsubaki's board was summoned. Tsuyoshi's assistant delivered the message with shaking hands. Sumikawa's owner would arrive at 5. Back at the office, Aya stayed late. Her trembling fingers pulled up the claims archive, searching for a pattern she could no longer ignore.
Every time the portal failed, she stamped denied. But it was our system that broke, not the policyholders.
The screen flickered as she cross-referenced outage logs with denial stamps. 46 names, plus Hiroto. 47 families crushed by a loophole.
If they find out I pulled this, I'm finished, but they have to know.
She typed a single line in the email body. 47 families denied the same loophole. The attachment held the raw data. Hiroto's phone vibrated in his pocket. An unknown sender. The subject line burned through the screen.
47. This isn't a mistake. It's a pattern of fraud. Daisuke, I just received a file. Change of plans. I want the full claims record for the past 2 years on that table.
He didn't explain who sent it. The name Aya meant nothing to him yet, but the data was a weapon. He went home and changed into a crisp navy suit. The soot was cleaned from his cheek, but the fire still lived in his eyes. Tsuyoshi stared at the summons, Sumikawa's owner. No agenda. His collar already damp with sweat.
Why now? We've underwritten with them for years without a single complaint. This is a disaster.
Keiko saw the meeting alert at home. She poured a glass of wine, but her fingers tapped an uneven rhythm on the armrest.
It's probably a quarterly review. I followed protocol. There's nothing to worry about.
Hiroto strode through Tsubaki's lobby. Staff turned. He looked nothing like the soot-stained man from that morning. He paused at the boardroom glass. Keiko was already inside, smirking at her phone. She hadn't looked up. Inside, Keiko adjusted her glasses. The smug smile from the afternoon still clung to her lips. She didn't see the shadow at the door.
This meeting will be over in 20 minutes. I'll be home before the evening news.
Hiroto's hand rested on the door handle. The clock on the wall read 4:59. His pulse remained steady. He didn't push yet. He waited for the second hand to hit 12. Let them sit in the silence a moment longer. He stepped inside, and the room's idle chatter died as if a switch had been flipped.
That's the policyholder, the one I denied this morning.
Hiroto walked to the head of the table, his footsteps the only sound on the hardwood. The board members exchanged bewildered glances. None of them recognized this composed stranger standing before them.
I'm sorry, but this meeting is strictly for the board and the Sumikawa principal. You must leave immediately.
The name you're waiting for is Hiroto. I am the principal owner of Sumikawa Reinsurance, the silent backer that absorbs your catastrophic risk.
Tsuyoshi's pen snapped in his hand. The shard skittered across the polished table.
He's the owner. I stamped his claim rejected.
This morning, your senior adjuster denied my fire claim. It was 26 hours late because your portal failed. I'm not here to discuss one claim. I'm here to discuss 47.
47? Tsuyoshi's voice was barely a whisper. The boardroom air thickened with dread.
This is a misunderstanding. The portal outage was an IT anomaly. I simply followed standard protocol.
Your portal was down for 30 consecutive hours. You blamed policyholders for your own system failure. The rejection wasn't a clerical error. It was a policy of cruelty.
He laid his own rejection notice on the polished wood. The red stamp glowed like a fresh wound.
I applied the fine print exactly as written. Late renewal is late renewal. The clause doesn't care about outages.
Fine print? Then explain why the same clause crushed 46 other families during that very outage. Your signature is on every denial.
Tsuyoshi's knuckles whitened as urgent whispers spread around the table. The board members were beginning to understand.
I demand all 47 claims be reversed and paid in full by end of business today. No negotiations.
That would cost billions. The quarterly reserves can't absorb.
You can reverse them. Or by tomorrow, Tsubaki Insurance loses its reinsurance facility and the legal right to write a single new policy.
In the hallway, Aya pressed the flash drive to her chest. Her legs shook, but her eyes held a quiet fire. She pushed the boardroom door open. Every face turned, Keiko's sneer froze in place.
A clerk? This is a closed meeting. Whatever you think you have, leave it outside.
She stays. If the data corroborates my demand, you'll be grateful for her interruption.
Aya's trembling fingers slid the drive into the boardroom laptop. The projector hummed to life. The screen filled with rows. 47 names, 47 denial dates, each timestamp matching the portal outage window.
Those records are confidential. She stole company data. This is a criminal act.
The portal logs are public record by regulatory mandate. She didn't steal anything. She uncovered what you tried to bury.
Tsuyoshi's face drained of color. The weight of 34 billion yen in potential liability settled on his shoulders.
So, do we reverse them all? Or do I make one phone call?
Tsuyoshi's fist slammed the table. His voice cracked with fury as he faced the adjuster.
Keiko, every single one of these rejections bears your stamp. You've been denying families wholesale while blaming a system failure you knew was ours.
I followed internal guidelines to the letter. The policy terms don't grant exceptions for technical issues.
Two board members leaned close, their whispers sharp. The word liability cut through the thick air.
Guidelines don't permit rewarding failure with 47 ruined lives. Your signature proves you knew the pattern.
She's still trying to hide behind the rulebook, but the whole board can see through it now.
The IT team should have flagged the outage. This isn't solely my responsibility. The portal failure was theirs.
Enough. You're an adjuster, not a scapegoat hunter. This board will discuss the facts, not your deflections.
They're turning on me. This is slipping away faster than I thought possible.
You have the evidence. You know what's right. The only question is whether you have the courage to do it.
Hiroto let the silence stretch, then spoke with a finality that tightened every throat in the room.
Here is my final offer. You reverse every claim right now, and Keiko clears out her desk by 6, or I make that call.
Tsuyoshi's face twisted in horror, the calculation of insolvency flashing behind his eyes.
You'd destroy a century-old company over a single adjuster's mistake.
No. I'd protect 47 families from a company that forgot its purpose. That's not destruction. That's accountability.
Keiko's frantic breathing was the only sound until she shattered the silence.
This is a witch hunt. I'll sue for defamation. You'll regret threatening me.
The projected outage logs still glowed on the screen, immutable proof behind her empty threats.
You have 5 minutes to decide. I'll be outside.
He turned and walked toward the door, leaving the board with a deadline heavier than the building's foundation.
My name is Aya. The 43rd family on that list. They're my parents.
You're not authorized to speak.
Let her speak. I want to hear this.
She told them about the small bakery that had been in her family for 2 generations, washed away in one night of record rain.
Keiko rejected the flood claim the same way. Our renewal was a day late because the post office flooded. My father had a heart attack from the stress. My mother sold her ring to pay the lawyer. We lost everything.
2 board members exchanged a glance. One removed his glasses and rubbed his eyes.
This is irrelevant emotional blackmail. The policy terms are the policy terms.
There are 47 families with stories like mine. That's not blackmail. It's the truth you stamped denied.
The boardroom fell silent. The clock on the wall ticked toward the deadline.
This clerk illegally accessed private claim records. Her evidence is inadmissible, tainted fruit.
The insurance authority's public disclosure rules make outage logs accessible to any policyholder. She broke no law.
He lifted a printed copy from the table, the same outage logs the regulator had posted publicly 2 days after the failure.
Then prove I knew the outage was ongoing when I denied claims. You can't.
Every denial you stamped has a timestamp. During the outage, you accessed the claims portal from your office IP. The server logs show it.
Keiko's face turned the color of old milk. Her fingers began to tremble against the armrest.
You logged in to review the claim, saw the outage banner, and still applied the denial. That's not protocol, that's fraud.
Not a single board member met Keiko's eyes. The shift was unmistakable.
This proves nothing. I'll fight this in every court. You've made a fatal mistake.
The server logs are already with the regulator. Your choice is the board's reversal or a public indictment.
Tsuyoshi grabbed Hiroto's elbow at the back of the room, his whisper thick with desperation.
Hiroto, please, we'll pay your claim. Full replacement cost, no cap. Promote Aya to investigator. Just bury the rest.
And the 46 families you crushed, they stay broken while I walk away comfortable?
Think rationally. This saves the company, protects everyone's jobs. No one else has your leverage.
That's not saving the company. That's saving your own skin at the expense of people who can't fight back.
Keiko saw the exchange from across the room. A smirk twitched at the corner of her mouth.
Of course. Everyone has a price. He just needs more zeros.
I'm not here to cash out. I'm here to make sure no adjuster ever plays God with 47 families again.
Tsuyoshi's face collapsed. The board members traded anxious glances, no closer to a resolution. 5 minutes had passed. Hiroto walked back to the table, the silence heavier than before. Tsuyoshi's face hardened as he leaned across the table, his voice dropping to a venomous whisper.
If you pull the facility, we'll expose Aya's data extraction. She'll be unemployable, and you'll face years of litigation.
Sumikawa's legal team filed the countersuit 10 minutes ago. Fraud, bad faith, and racketeering. The regulator already has the filing.
He slid a single page into the projector, the cover sheet of a 60-page complaint, stamped received by the court.
You can't do this. It will destroy the entire market's confidence in us.
Keiko's pattern of denial destroyed it. I'm making sure the cleanup happens before the contagion spreads.
Keiko's breath caught. The room seemed to shrink around her. A board member loosened his collar, sweat beading his brow. Another stared at the papers as if they were live grenades.
You have until 5 p.m. After that, the press release goes live, and your company becomes a verb for corporate cruelty.
The clock showed 2 minutes to 5. The boardroom was frozen, the weight of his ultimatum pressing down on every breath. Without another word, Hiroto pushed through the door, Aya's footsteps echoing behind him.
He's bluffing. The board won't choose bankruptcy over one adjuster.
The boardroom exploded. Mr. Hino slammed his palm down, demanding they accept to avoid court. The treasurer clutched his ledger, warning that a full payout would cripple the fiscal year.
Silence. We don't leave this room without a vote. All in favor of full reversal and Keiko's dismissal. Raise your hand.
The room went cold. Not a single hand moved for 3 agonizing seconds.
If they reject it, Will you really destroy them?
I won't have to. The regulator already has the evidence. If the board doesn't clean house, the government will.
Behind the closed door, Keiko's face twisted with desperation as a hand slowly rose. A second hand followed, then a third. Still, the count hung short of a majority. The vote teetered on a knife's edge.
Please. I followed orders from the claims manager. The portal team never warned me. Don't throw away my career over one administrative error.
Sit down, Keiko. You stamped 47 denials with full knowledge of the outage. There is no excuse.
2 more hands shot up. The treasurer took a deep breath and raised his. The board had reached 6. Tsuyoshi's hand trembled as he signed the resolution. The motion carried. 47 claims reversed. Keiko dismissed. Keiko's glasses slid from her nose. She didn't reach for them. The mustard blazer suddenly looked like a costume.
You have until 6 o'clock to clear your desk. Security will escort you.
The boardroom door opened. A junior clerk stepped into the hallway, her voice shaking. Mr. Hiroto, the board requests your presence. They've accepted your terms. As Hiroto re-entered, every board member stood. They bowed as one, a silent admission of shame. Keiko sat frozen, the world rearranging itself around her. The stamp that had ended 47 hopes now ended her own. Hiroto stepped back into the boardroom, the low sun cutting through the windows. The air smelled of ink and defeat.
The reversal order has been sent to accounting. All 47 families will receive payment by morning. I apologize for what happened.
Keiko moved through the office like a ghost. She placed her nameplate into a cardboard box, the mustard blazer draped over her chair. No one spoke to her. No one met her eyes. The security guard held the door as she walked into the evening.
They're sending the claims. All of them. My mother, she just called me. She was crying.
Not just hers. 47 families who thought they'd been thrown away.
By 7 o'clock, the press release hit every agency in Tokyo. The headlines spread across screens like a verdict.
We'll be cooperating fully with the regulator. Whatever reforms you suggest, this board is ready to implement.
Start by auditing every denial from the past 2 years. I'll be watching.
Outside the building, a small group of families was already gathering, disbelief and hope etched on their faces. By 8, the pavement outside Tsubaki Insurance filled with families clutching phones, some already holding checks. An elderly man stared at the zeros on his check, hands shaking. A young mother pressed the paper to her chest and wept. Aya's parents arrived, faces raw from grief. Her mother saw the check, and her legs gave out.
45 million. The bakery, is this real?
Hiroto stood under the building's awning, watching the relief unfold. A tired smile settled on his lips. Aya broke away from her parents, braid whipping behind her, and threw her arms around him.
You did this. My family, all of them. You gave us back our lives.
You gave them the list. Your courage turned the key.
Aya pulled back, wiping her eyes, but the tears kept falling. The crowd around them was laughter and sobs. Hiroto looked out at the families. 47 reasons to keep fighting. For the first time since the fire, the weight in his chest felt lighter. The next morning, Hiroto stood before the cameras outside Tsubaki Insurance. His voice carried the weight of a man who had nothing left to lose.
Effective today, the Sumikawa Advocacy Foundation will audit every denied claim in Japan. No family should ever face what these 47 families endured.
Later, Aya led him through narrow streets to a corner lot. The bakery sign still hung crooked, warped by floodwater. The oven was a rusted shell. The walls bled mold, but the foundation stone was still solid.
This was my mother's dream. Now it's just a carcass.
It's not a carcass. It's the first project of the foundation. We rebuild your bakery, brick by brick, recipe by recipe.
He unrolled a blueprint on the hood of a car, pointing to the new kitchen layout. Aya's parents watched from the curb, silent and disbelieving.
You're serious after everything. You're really going to rebuild it?
Hiroto reached into his pocket and pressed a small bread-shaped charm into her hand, a token from the old bakery he'd recovered years ago. It was the foundation's first promise, and the first stone that would become Hope Bakery. On opening day, Hiroto cut the ribbon. The crowd's cheer swallowed the street. Inside, Hope Bakery glowed with fresh wood and warm light. Aya slid the first tray of rolls into the oven. Her parents watched, tears streaking smiles, unable to believe the walls were real. The counter was mobbed. The till hadn't rung in 3 years, and now it wouldn't stop. Aya pressed a warm roll into Hiroto's hands, gratitude shining in her eyes.
This tastes like what we fought for.
It's my mother's recipe. She thought it was gone forever.
Outside, the line stretched the length of the block, proof that justice could be baked fresh. By evening, her father stood behind the counter, his hands not shaking for the first time since the flood. The small bread charm caught the light in his palm, a reminder of when justice first took root. In the weeks that followed, families brought baked goods and handwritten notes. Grateful hands pressed thanks into Hiroto's. A child handed him a crayon drawing of a burnt house rebuilt into a bakery. He folded it carefully into his coat. Aya worked the counter, her laughter threading through the warm air. The pastel braids swung with every order.
Look at this! The foundation already has 17 open cases. People are coming forward because they trust us now.
A community grant rebuilt a flooded apartment complex. The foundation's logo was stamped on the new cornerstone. 2 stations away, Keiko sat in a cramped single room. The mustard blazer hung in the closet like a ghost.
47 claims reversed. I'm on every blacklist now.
The landlord's notice was taped to her door. The apartment still smelled of old wine and stale ambition. No one called. Her phone was as silent as the claims she once denied. Outside Hope Bakery, the line was still growing. The world had moved on and left her behind. The cemetery lay quiet under a gold-threaded sky. Hiroto walked the familiar path, a silver frame pressed to his chest. He knelt before her grave, setting white lilies against the cool stone.
I kept my promise. 47 families are whole because of you.
He set the silver frame beside the lilies, the half-burned photograph now safe behind glass. The charred edge still kissed her smile, but the glass made it permanent.
You can rest. I'm okay now.
The sunset draped the cemetery in amber. The silence didn't ache.
Thank you for holding my hand through the ash. I'll carry you differently now.
He stood, brushed the grass from his knees, and looked toward the distant city lights. The man who had once sat in ashes now walked from the grave with quiet peace. Hiroto continued down the hill, the city sprawling before him. The path ahead felt familiar now, not like a wound, but like a direction. In the distance, the bakery's lights glowed through the evening haze, a beacon he'd learned to follow. Aya stood outside, wiping flour from her apron, searching the road. When she saw him, her wave was immediate, wide, certain, like she'd been expecting him. Hiroto lifted his hand. The motion was small, but it carried everything he couldn't say. She laughed, shook her head, and pointed toward the open door. The bakery's warmth spilled into the street. He began the last stretch of the walk, the bread charm still warm in his palm. The evening settled around them like a held breath finally released. Inside, the oven hummed. Outside, the city went on. Justice had taken root in a bakery, and it was only the beginning.